unfiltered opinions.
Sometimes you have ideas and you're not quite sure why.
As you secure the bag.
Sometimes you meet people and realize there's probably a reason why you stayed in touch.
Just listen.
Sometimes all the pieces just come together by themselves.
I'm Jimmy Moyaha.
And I'm Simon Brown.
Welcome to Insider Exchange.
Compliments of 2020 Thrive. Welcome back. We hope you had a pleasant festive break and a great start to the new year. Welcome to Insider Exchange, another year for us to get into some unfiltered thoughts and opinions around everything to do with markets and investments and finance and everything else in between. There's a bunch of things that kind of fall in between there, and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to have my good friend Simon back. Lunch on a Tuesdays, not lunch on a Mondays. We don't like Mondays.
Okay, no, I don't know. Hey, we're back. It's January. I'm off to Cape Town on Wednesday for 2 weeks. So.
Good things. Starting off the year on a good note. We're a couple of weeks into the year. Yes, there's a couple of things that have been happening while we've been away, but we're obviously going to catch up on all of those things and bring you all of the latest news and information. Before we get to that, we're coming towards the end of January. It's been probably the quickest January I've ever experienced in my life. And I say that worrying that there's still about 11 days left of the month. How was the holiday?
Holiday was epic. When I was off for almost a month, I was in Durban. I went surfing. I ate curry. I did nothing.
You found a ladder.
I fell off a ladder. Oh no, I take that back. The ladder collapsed under me. So I have to move because I was trying to change a light bulb and the ladder collapsed and I haven't changed the light bulb, so we're just going to move. And it's actually quite a cunning thing. How do you know when to move? Like if you're a renter, how do you know when to move? Well, when the light goes out.
Or when the geyser bursts, whichever is cheaper for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So but the foot is, I have a physio who's a magician, so she has me walking within 2 weeks.
Yeah, when you told me the story, I was like, this makes absolutely no sense. Why were you on the ladder in the first place? And then to be fair, I mean, I recently had to reprimand a family elder who was on a plastic chair picking mangoes for his wife. And I'm like, you're too old to do this.
Yeah, so look,
I know you love your wife, but come on.
It's only one step up. Look, my wife has been warning me forever that ladders are bad. And to her credit, she hasn't said, I told you so. So there's that.
But she gave you the look. She gave you the I told you so look, followed by now look at you.
And then she took me to hospital.
After the look.
Yeah.
Hey, people are joining in. Lovely to see you guys. Yes. There we go. Well done, Incognito. First time catching the show. Welcome. Jimbo, hope you had a great break as well. Great to see you again. We're going to be looking at a couple of things today. We're going to be covering, in market matters, we're going to be looking at Chinese GDP data. That's come out. We're going to be looking at the US inauguration. That's obviously taking place today. Hence the Washington Patriots shirt. Don't ask me why. It just felt like it made sense. And we're also going to be taking a look at Nigeria joining BRICS. I suppose let's start with kind of the easy ones. Nigeria joining BRICS. Now, 2 out of the 3 largest economies on the African continent are BRICS members, Egypt being the only one outstanding, which I think also had conversations about wanting to, kind of be part of that as well.
And I suppose let's be clear that the 3 largest economies on the African continent aren't bigger than any of the other BRIC members, initial BRIC members. Everyone wants in, right? There's a new grouping. They see what's happening with global politics. We've got all of the sort of G20s, G7s, and all of those sort of things. And so it's like, well, hey, but also a lot of sort of more, I'm thinking the non-aligned movement. I'm thinking African Union, and there's probably similar-ish type things in Asia and other South America and other parts of the world seem to have just sort of gone nowhere over the last many decades. So BRICS is the new exciting bloc. Is it a trade bloc? Is it a political bloc? Is it just a place to
They're
party?
just calling themselves a bloc at the moment
just
because
a bloc.
I suppose they can go into either side of it, trade or political. And it's weird because now with the bloc expanding at the rate it's expanding, you can't really, as a person that's not part of the bloc, so as an America that's going to come out and say, we're putting America first. We want the dollar to remain the reserve currency. You can't really stop people from joining BRICS. And if you're going to go threaten with wars, are you going to go wage war against every country in the world? No, it's not going to work.
We hope heck not.
Well, you can try, but I mean, it's not practical.
But it is also, and we've spoken before about the weaponization of the dollar and the buying of gold. That obviously peaked when Russia invaded Ukraine. But we've seen worries about that. China started buying gold far back as 2018 for their central bank, aggressively buying. So this is kind of the other side of the equation in many senses. Because you notice BRICS, there's no interest from Europe, there's no interest from North America. It's everyone else.
Well, to be fair, Europe might go into its own recession, so maybe we don't want them as part of BRICS at this point.
No, I'm not sure that we want the other folks. I'm just observing that they are missing at the dinner table.
Absolutely. You're seeing a lot of South America, a lot of Asia, a lot of Africa, very little Europe, no North America. You're right. It's one of those. And I suppose with Australia as well, they're too busy focused on their spiders and kangaroos.
Yeah, and the things that kill them.
And the things that kill everything in Australia. We're not too bothered. But I suppose they still have that alignment towards the
to who?
The UK throne. They still have the
the
Commonwealth alignment thing.
Yeah.
And
do they still have the Queen on the money? It would be king now, I suppose.
I think they might.
They're still a Commonwealth.
I believe they are. I believe New Zealand.
But we're also technically a Commonwealth, but we don't have the. There's levels of. Okay.
We're part of the party when it's kind of a party.
When it's good for us.
Yeah, when it's not a party, it's not a party.
And our knowledge apparently is not very strong on any of that.
No, apparently not. No. What it is strong on is Chinese GDP data.
Yeah.
We had been talking about it the whole of last year. We thought we were never going to get to 5%. It's going to be a horrible year for China. You black sheep of the family, how dare you underperform? And then they come out with 5.4% and the world is quiet.
And the year average was 5. Yeah. So spot on, and the world was quiet. Now, there's a ton of people out there saying, oh, you can't trust Chinese
data, yeah.
Look, I mean, all data gets revised and this and that, and it's
so does
messy.
US data.
Exactly.
Jobs data gets revised every time.
Yeah, and it was a big number, and 5% is. I mean, that's what Xi Jinping is targeting. Is 5% is his target. I didn't think they would get to it, to be perfectly honest.
No, we had our doubts. No, the reality is we definitely did have our doubts. Yeah. But at the end, when we look back on the overall performance of China, and you say, with all of the headaches that China had, all of the troubles that China went through, they didn't just like scrape through at like 4.8 or whatever. They still got to the 5% target that we set at the start of last year. So clearly that economy is able to, much like the US economy, surprise us. And I think the US economy as well has gone through quite a bit of surprises, quite a bit of, hey, we're doing really well. And obviously that's with the stimulus package that's gone through there. And that leads me to now the inauguration. I was saying to our teams that I don't want to be in markets at the moment, at least for today and possibly tomorrow, because the moment this inauguration takes place, there's going to be some volatility. Yeah, we can say it's good for America or whatever, but the reality is there's been a promise that there's going to be a bunch of stuff that's going to be signed into law. Yeah. Now, we don't know what that is yet.
And these are executive orders, which is like a weird thing. I know we don't want to touch on the TikTok because we don't know what's happening there.
Yeah.
But, majority vote in the House and the Senate, 9-0 at the Supreme Court. And then weirdly, Trump can issue an executive order and say, nay, all's good. Or actually, it might have been part of the law where he had 90 days. And that's just it. I mean, the theory is that he might sign as much as 100 laws before we wake up tomorrow morning, 100 executive orders before we wake up tomorrow morning.
And that concerns me deeply because knowing his track record...
You won't even be able to read half of it.
And for context, those that don't know the track, let's run through some of the cliff notes, some of the highlights, right? Bankrupted 4 companies, been impeached twice as a president.
Hang on. Bankrupted a casino, which is legislated to make money.
Which is impossible to do. Bankrupted 4 companies, one of which was a casino, impeached twice and is still being allowed to stand. Was found guilty on, I think, 34 counts felony accounts, and still is returning to the White House as if nothing has happened
Do we let felons into our country?
into the country.
I mean, Canada doesn't.
Yeah, Canada doesn't.
Because we've got G20 later this year.
So here's where I want to get on that. Are you a felon if you are a head of state and if you have a diplomatic passport? Because now, do we define you as the president or do we define you as the felon?
Well, remember when Putin was
I think
coming...
one trumps the others. Excuse the pun.
So, because when Putin was coming, but he's got an international arrest warrant.
From Interpol.
ICC.
Oh, the ICC. Yeah, but so does Benjamin Netanyahu. I suppose those are just going out at the moment.
Applicants must not have a criminal record to visit South Africa.
Okay, but...
That does say a standard visit visa, which
right,
is
so
not
you don't... So
a head of
standard...
state.
That's it. A standard visit visa is a Jimmy and a Simon. We're not important
we're not
people.
important enough.
When you get to head of state level, you're dealing with diplomatic passports, diplomatic things, and if you're visiting by invitation of the president of South Africa, then I kind of think we forego all of these logistics.
Fun fact, Australia allows felons.
Huh.
Well, they have
They
to,
don't
right?
let you bring in your own apples, but you can bring in a criminal.
Well, that's because that's how they started. Remember, they were felons. It's kind of sweet continuity.
Oh, well, that's it. Appreciate the consistency.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be wild, right? I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, it's going
Absolutely.
to be.
Like I don't know what to anticipate from this inauguration. All I know is that we're going to be rocked. And it's going to be under the guise of, yes, we're making America great again or whatever. But to what extent? Because now also with Trump having said the comments he said leading up to today, oh no, BRICS is not allowed to have its own currency. Oh no, we're going to review AGOA. Oh no, we're not going to review AGOA. Like those sorts of things, you kind of don't really know until we see what comes out of those papers, what's going to be happening there, right?
I got to say, Trump doesn't care about AGOA. It's too small. He makes no money from it.
Yeah, it doesn't affect his...
It's going to go along perfectly fine. I mean, that doesn't stress me at all. But it's just, you know, this is Trump 2.0. So we've seen this before, where it's shouty tweets that kind of drive policy, etc., etc. He's probably going to be better at it because it's his second run at it. He's also never going to stand for public office again.
That's it. So this is the year to cause this is the term to cause the most chaos you can.
Correct.
I want to know what people are looking forward to. I'm going to put it out in our community chat. I want people to tell me what they're looking forward to.
Well, hey, my Bitcoin's trading at all-time highs.
What is it, 109,000 now?
Yeah, and I hold some.
That is, see, but that's been pro-Trump, right? That's been the pro-Trump conversation. He came out very clearly to say, we're going to make sure we're crypto-friendly. We're going to make sure the SEC is crypto-friendly. And those kinds of statements...
is out and yeah.
Yeah, those kinds of statements are what we're going to be in for, where Donald Trump is, I still can't wrap my head around it.
It's just, I mean, he's crypto friendly because he discovered he could launch his own coin. That suddenly makes him one of the richest people in the world. Because his Trump coin, because you own a large slice of it, so it's one valuation. It added 36 billion to his net worth. Now, I mean, liquidity is, you know, the rug pool's got to be quite crafty here. Otherwise, it's going to be like the other lady. But
Haley Welsh.
That's her name.
Haley Welsh.
She claims she didn't know there was a rug pool.
Didn't know it was a rug pool. Came out of it with lots of money. I don't know what happened, but my bank account has millions in it.
Have you had? I've had these offers. People slide into your DM. Hey, and they are quite. The one guy was quite blatant about how we do this.
Yes.
We hype it on your name, etc., etc.
That's
and
it.
As soon as the thing's gone up to X,
Yes.
we just start taking our money
pull.
and running. They take 20%. I take 80%. And they do all the work.
Yeah. Well, that's how rug pull works, right? So you leverage off of someone's popularity and trust in the space and say, Simon is a trusted voice. We will know that if he says this is something to go into, then everybody's going to kind of pile into that, right? So that's another story for
the
whole
other one,
day.
of course, is Tesla. But then at some point, Elon and Trump have a breakup.
So did you just call Tesla a rug pull?
Not
Listed company, listed in New York, being called a
no,
rug
it's the other
pull.
Trump trade.
The other Trump trade. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of those, right? There's going to be a lot of Trump trades this year that lead us to all sorts of things. And as you mentioned, rug pulls and things.
Yeah, the point with all of these things, get in early, take your money early too.
Yeah, because don't wait for the rug to be pulled, because you don't know when the rug pull's happening unless you are the one pulling the rug, right? So that's the bit of advice there. the safer option is just stay out of it.
Just stay away.
James, Doge, interesting element there. The Department of Government Efficiency. Also the Dogecoin, all of that. Jimbo saying to us on our live stream chat that he's not sure if it'll work out or to what extent. And it's to your point around the Trump trade or the Trump-Musk marriage. Like, how far does it go? Because typically in that kind of situation, right, your elected president, elected official relies on the billionaires' financial influence and muscle and all of that to be able to maintain kind of their political power and all of that. That's kind of what happened. Except if you were, of course, Vladimir Putin, in which case you told all of the financial guys to stay out of the political stuff and just go earn their money in the oil stuff, right? But in Trump's case, Trump, I don't want to say technically on paper, is a billionaire himself. And that now means that he's a different kind of leader. So in the past, you could wave it over your billionaire or your leader that, oh no, you aren't as wealthy as you are, let us make you wealthy. But Trump doesn't know that. He already specializes in tax avoidance, tax evasion, and everything
Except
to do
these
with
things he's got. So remember, he had that 100K watch, now he's got Dogecoin. So let's say you and I owned a little island and we wanted, I don't know, an American warship to come park here. So we buy ourselves a couple of $1 million of Trump coin and we send him the proof of payment. Essentially, it's a backhand bribe, right? Except it's not backhand, it's front door.
You've just revamped the bribery world for everyone out there.
So he's also got that 100,000 watch. So let's say you're a businessman and you get to have a lunch with Trump. How do you show him that you are you wearing his $100,000 piece of rubbish watch?
Oh, he has a watch named
that
after
was
him.
last year. Keep up, dude. He's also got a perfume.
Oh my God.
But the watch is quite simple, right? So I'm at lunch and I'm like, hey, what's the time?
Yeah.
And Trump can see, assuming he can recognize his own watch,
You're assuming he knows what it looks like.
the 100K, and he now knows that you've basically given him 100K less some handling fees from a third party.
Okay.
And I mean, it's
So if I want to make $1 million donation to the Trump administration, do I buy 10 watches and wear all 10, 5 on? Okay. Okay. So that's how we do it these days.
So fun fact on the Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, which had 2 leaders, which was weird, but they've already discovered some efficiency. Reports are that what's the other chap, Vivek Ramaswamy, is out. Well, that cuts your head off his cost in half. That's efficient.
Fair. I'm so confused. There's so much happening in American politics. This is just,
Remember George W.
Imagine telling the kids I lost their college money investing in the Hawk Tour coin.
And then you got to explain Hawk Tour.
That's a very loaded conversation that you're having with your children, right? So I suppose the Trump coin does weigh out a little bit better from that perspective. But that's Market Matters for this week. We've just gotten back. It's a lot. There's a lot happening. We're going to get into our deep dive. We're going to be looking at foreign investment tax in the context of South Africa. Should we be taxing South Africa? Should we be taxing investors that come into South Africa and buying things like property in South Africa as non-South African citizens? Should there be a special tax on that? We're going to look into that in our deep dive. Please stay tuned. Shout out to our TikTok community as well that's joined us. We're so glad that our California community is able to stay with us. Hey, we were worried about you guys there for a second. Thank you to the TikTok gods and the legislators that kept you guys or the servers online. That's it for Market Matters. We're going to get into our deep dive.